Why are you or your patients being readmitted to the hospital, and what does it have to do with the cleanliness of your home? Find out in today's episode. One of the things that caught my attention in the early days of cleaning was an encounter that I had with my first client, and she was suffering from a disease called scleroderma. It's a rare skin disease, but it's a skin disease where the skin actually starts to dry out to the point where they have to start cutting off the extremities because the circulation is not going through. So there was a lady and she had this situation. I felt bad for her. She was not able to open containers to do cleaning, and anything that she handled with her fingertips was excruciating in terms of pain for her. And she had asked me if I would help her to clean her house. And of course I said, it's not gonna kill me to help this lady. She needs help. Let me step up and help this lady. At the end of the day, I overheard her complimenting my work to someone on the phone. And she said, oh, there's a young man here. He's detailing my chandelier. Wow, my chandelier's never been so clean in my life. The house hasn't been this clean since I moved in. And I said to myself, this is something that I should not take lightly. I should pay attention to this. So when we talk about community health, one of the things that catches my attention is the healthiness of the community in their own private space. When a person gets discharged from the hospital, they go back to their private space. But if their private space is not managed well in terms of bacteria count, dust count, and just the general maintenance of the home, all homes will deteriorate systematically over a period of time, and they have to be upkept and maintained in order to keep this deterioration from becoming a problem with the entire community. When people get discharged into homes that are contaminated, they end up back in the hospital. And so there's been like a revolving door of people coming from a contaminated home into a hygienically clean environment, which is the hospital, where it's governed by OSHA. The nurses and the doctors, they provide service and care in a hygienically clean environment. And then when they get discharged, it's back to the contamination, and then they end up right back in the hospital again. Another issue that can contribute to readmission rates when we talk about the health of the community is that when you have a senior or sickly person who has some type of illness or injury that now prohibits them from climbing the stairs. And it could be a case where they're creating now a sleeping environment on the ground level so they don't have to go up and down the stairs, which requires construction work. When the construction work is done in the house, the people who do the construction, the sanding of the floors, the hammering, the sheetrock installation, they do not specialize in the cleanup. They may do a builder's level of clean, which is very generic, but in terms of particulate matter that's left as a residual of their work, it lingers on and it becomes a toxic hazard. I have had situations where a lady had a knee operation, and because of the knee operation, they created a bed for her on her ground floor. So she wasn't going to be sleeping in her bedroom, she was going to be sleeping in the den off of the kitchen. But while she was in the hospital, the basement was being remodeled. She was a person who did crafts work, and so they remodeled the entire basement with the idea that when she's recovering, at some point she can go back into her shop and start doing some of her crafts. The problem was the sawdust travels through the air. As the air is a vehicle for all particles to move about, she found that she was not able to sleep through the night because her nose was running continuously, her eyes were irritated, her throat was scratchy. Construction work and remodeling can actually add to the hospital admission rates because some of the material that are used in newly refurbished homes can off-gas. And off-gassing will actually produce glues and toxins, respiratory effects, that can cause neurological damage. And then before we know it, now she's broken her hip and they've remodeled a bedroom for her on the main level. They've done some construction and installation, and now they sent her back to that home, and now she's back at the hospital again. What's the problem this time? It's not her hip, it's her lungs. Okay, what's in the lungs? It's the residue from the construction work. So this is something that has to be addressed, and it has to be on the radar of the caregivers and the case managers, the people who are involved in discharge planning, that if you're going to reconstruct an environment for that person to live in their home, you have to go through a thorough cleaning of the residual dust and debris, the glues, and the toxins. So here's what you need to do. If you're a patient or you're caring for a patient and you don't want to get readmitted to the hospital because your home was not intensively cleaned, it's time to take care of it now. I'm the incredible Gregory Hunter, and here's to keeping you healthy. This is not maid service, this is intensive cleaning. So reach out to us with the information below, and we'd be glad to help you.